Right, settle in everyone. Today we're doing a bit of a deep dive into something pretty relevant for, well, many of you here in the UK, private medical insurance, PMI.
It's a big topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've got quite the stack of material here. Policy guides, Bupa, Aviva, AXA, WPA, Exeter.
And Vitality too, plus reviews, expert takes like insights from services such as WeCover, who help people navigate it all.
Exactly. And our mission really is to unpack UK PMI for you. What's it fundamentally for? What's typically covered? And maybe even more important, what isn't?
And how you actually find your way through it, because it can seem complex. So, first things first, what is UK PMI basically?
Well, fundamentally, it's insurance designed to cover the cost of private healthcare treatment. The main draw you often hear is quicker access.
Quicker than NHS waiting lists.
Generally, yes, and often more choice of consultant, choice of hospital, that kind of thing.
Okay, so let's talk cover. What are the absolute core bits you'd find in most policies?
The real core is usually inpatient and day patient treatment, so that's when you're actually admitted to hospital.
Overnight or just for the day?
Either. It covers the hospital fees, surgeon's fees, anaesthetist, that sort of thing, when you're formally admitted for a procedure or treatment.
But it's not just about being admitted, is it? What about seeing specialists beforehand?
Oh yeah, that's usually outpatient cover. It's often an add-on, a modular part. That covers your consultations, diagnostic tests, things like MRI scans, CT, PET scans.
Physiotherapy too?
Often, yes, physio, osteopathy, those sorts of therapies can be included in outpatient cover. And mental health support is becoming more common too.
Starting with things like helplines.
Exactly. Helplines are pretty standard. Optional cover for actual therapy sessions might be available too. And comprehensive cancer cover is a major part of most decent policies.
Right, but now for the really crucial bit, the exclusions. What's the number one thing people need to be aware of?
Pre-existing conditions, that's almost always the big one. If you had symptoms, advice or treatment for a condition before you took out the policy, it probably won't be covered.
And that's just standard practice.
Pretty much. Insurance is generally for unforeseen issues. If it already exists, it's not unforeseen, though underwriting methods like moratorium can change things slightly over time.
How does that work, moratorium?
Well, with moratorium, if you go, say, 2 years without any symptoms, treatment or advice for that pre-existing condition after your policy starts, it might then become eligible for cover, but you need that clear period.
Got it. What about things that need managing long-term, like diabetes?
Chronic conditions. Generally, PMI isn't designed for the day-to-day, long-term management. It might cover an acute flare-up, getting symptoms under control, but not the ongoing care itself.
And emergencies, A&E visits?
No, definitely not. Private insurance doesn't cover A&E. That's what the NHS is for. If you need follow-up treatment after the emergency is handled by the NHS, your PMI might cover that, but not the initial emergency visit.
Okay, so pre-existing, chronic, A&E. Any other common exclusions that pop up?
Yeah, you'll usually find things like purely cosmetic surgery excluded, though some reconstructive surgery might be okay. Fertility treatments and injuries from particularly hazardous sports are also commonly excluded, along with conditions linked to alcohol or drug misuse.
So things like IVF or, say, skiing accidents wouldn't typically be covered?
Not under standard policies, no. But interestingly, WeCover does have access to some specialist policies that can include cover for things like fertility treatment and high-risk sports, the kind of cover that's normally quite expensive or hard to find.
That's really useful to know, especially for people with more specific needs or lifestyles.
Absolutely. It's another reason why speaking to someone who knows the market can make a big difference.
Makes sense. So, how does it work in practice? Say you need treatment. Can you just go to any private hospital?
No, not usually. Insurers like WPA, Bupa, AXA, Vitality, they all have lists of recognized hospitals or facilities.
And you have to use one from their list.
For full cover, typically, yes. Some policies might pay a bit if you go off-list. One source mentioned Vitality perhaps paying only 60%, but you really need to check your specific policy's hospital list before you arrange treatment. Services like WeCover can actually help compare which hospitals are covered by which insurer.
Okay, check the list first. And what about actually making a claim?
Pre-authorization is usually required. You need to contact your insurer before you have the treatment. Get their okay. They check it's covered, it's medically necessary.
And there are deadlines for claiming?
Yes, definitely. You need to submit claims within a certain time, maybe 6 months, as one example mentioned for WPA cash benefits. Check your policy docs.
And the excess? People talk about choosing an excess to lower the cost.
That's right. The excess is the bit you pay yourself towards a claim, usually per claim or per condition each policy year. A higher excess generally means a lower premium.
But not for everything.
Well, often those added value services like a digital GP app or maybe a health helpline that some providers like AXA or Vitality offer, they often don't have an excess, which is handy.
What if you have cover through work and a personal policy?
You absolutely must tell your insurer. It's called dual insurance. They might coordinate to share the costs. Honesty is key there.
Gosh, so with all these different cover levels, excesses, hospital lists, underwriting types, it does sound like quite a lot to get your head around.
It really can be. And premiums depend on your age, where you live, lifestyle, claim history. Some insurers use no-claims discounts like car insurance. WPA and AXA were mentioned as having those ladders.
So how do you choose?
That's where comparison services, often working with FCA-authorized advisors like WeCover, can be genuinely helpful. They help you compare the different options side by side based on your requirements. And remember, if you leave a job with company cover, you don't always have to wait until renewal time to sort out personal cover.
Good point. Are there any other sort of specific features that make policies different?
Yeah, a few interesting bits came up, like Bupa sometimes offering direct access for certain things, meaning you might not need a GP referral first.
Oh, that could speed things up.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And AXA has things like a cancer health coaching app. You also see small print differences, like WPA having an initial 14-day wait period for new conditions right when you join. Little details matter.
Right, so to wrap up, UK PMI definitely offers benefits, speed, choice, perhaps different facilities, but you absolutely have to understand the details. What's in, what's out, especially pre-existing conditions, and how it works day to day with lists, pre-authorization, excess.
It's crucial for it to be worthwhile. And as we said, there are resources out there, like WeCover, designed specifically to help you sift through the providers and find what fits.
And the best bit, WeCover's support is completely free.
Whether you're just exploring your options, switching providers, or looking for niche cover like fertility or sports-related protection, WeCover can guide you through it.
You can visit wecover.com or speak to one of their friendly advisors. No pressure, no jargon, just clear, expert help tailored to you. Until next time.